got the 2005 Nissan Altima here. I'm doing the passenger side control arm, and I've already done both of them on this car once, but I didn't want to spend $220 on a control arm, so I bought the cheap eBay control arm. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of movement there. So it sucks, but they're 50 bucks and it's only really a couple bolts to replace, so I'd rather spend 50 bucks twice instead of spending 220 bucks and just wasting an hour or so of my time. So this is what you do. First two bolts I start with are the back side. So there's your control arm. Try and back away a little bit. And I usually just spray those with PB Blaster. You can get to them from the top there. And then I hit them with the impact, a cheap impact. It seems to do the trick. They're 19 millimeter. And you've got your front one here. I've already backed that one out and sprayed that as well. You can get to them from the holes and stuff. And then you start to take the knuckle right here. You start to take off your ball joint nut. Make sure you pop out the cotter pin there. And I can't get to it with a socket, and I don't have the proper wrench for it, so I usually end up using a crescent wrench. Alright, now we got the nut off, so use ball joint tool. Pop this guy out of here. Both of these bolts onto the back here. Take this guy out. That's the front one. That's not good. Alright, so what I've been doing is I take my pry bar here, and I started this side off first, and I just put the bolt in a bunch of turns just so it's up in there and it's holding this part steady. And then I just take this and just pry real gently, on here, which pushes this all forward. I leave the protective cap on the boot, and I put the nut on there too so it doesn't smash anything up. And then you can see it's getting closer to being completely aligned, so you just kind of work this off. I wanted to take this off completely, but those two bolts stripped out, and that wasn't worth it to me. So alright, so I was able to get the second bolt on there lined up, or the second hole lined up. I put the bolt in a little bit. That had this bushing area down here, like right about here, and I was able to pull this out and move this, like move my whole knuckle assembly a little bit to get this pushed back up in there. It's not difficult. You'll monkey with it for a little bit and it'll go. Once that was done, then I knew that I could take off the protective plastic thing and the nut, and basically just line that up. Because if you don't have this in to the lower arm, to the knuckle itself, if you don't have the ball joint into that, this whole assembly, this whole thing just moves wherever you want it to go. So you can line it up pretty easily.